Hi, I'm Mallory Goodman. I am the costume designer for Shakespeare's Women. I am one of the graduate students here in the program. This is my first year in the MFA. My focus is costume design and my minor is in set design. Research for me usually starts with, I always start with reading through the script at least like one time before meeting with the director. And from there, we sort of discuss, we hear all of his ideas, his sort of concept for the play, for the show. And then after that, I kind of dive back in with his ideas in mind and then come up with just any imagery that I might see in the script and take note of specific things, but overall just sort of trying to develop like a mood for the show. And hit like the internet, Pinterest books, try to find photos of things that resonate well with characters or the show as a whole. And as far as specific things for inspiration, we sort of had this idea for a like Met Gala with a Shakespeare theme. So originally it actually started out looking quite a bit different than it ended up looking now. But something that was more inspiring as I spoke with Dean, my mentor, and even Brock, the set designer, heard about his more like industrial stage look that he was going for, and this idea of growing between the cracks, the story of these women having to grow through just like hardship essentially. They kind of grew up in this, or live in this male-run world. So you think about plants that grow through concrete or fences, etc. So using that as inspiration kind of developed into what the accessories would look like. So we still want them to have all of these elegant gowns, but are going to use more like metals for what they're wearing to kind of represent kind of like that hardness they've had to develop. All right, so one of my favorite looks that I got to create for one of the characters, I'm excited for a lot of them, but this one in particular, we found some amazing items. So this is, well, a few different people. We have Hermione, Nerissa, and Helena, or Helen, I guess. And we just found some beautiful things in stock that fit like perfectly with what we had in mind originally, and just found these items. So we have this kind of like magical sort of cape that she'll wear over this beautiful silver dress and this cape that I think is just going to look amazing. Another costume that I'm excited to see is the one that Lady Macbeth will be wearing. We have planned for her, we're still sourcing a lot of these clothes right now, but so far we kind of have this elegant black gown and then long red gloves. We wanted to sort of make little hints at some of the future things that will happen to some of these characters that aren't addressed in this play in particular. But I'm very excited to see how that looks on stage. I feel like it will be very striking. So far, she's the only one that will be wearing any red. But when I saw these online, I was like, oh my gosh, that could be really cool if we could like layer them. So we ended up trying it out. We're sort of hinting at her future with not being able to get the blood off of her hands, and it's almost like it's something that's like kind of lurking from underneath. There are a few that I really like. Basically anything that included some sequins or sparkle ended up being really stunning on stage. But I think I still have to say one of my favorite items are what we ended up using for Lady M's gloves. I think that those looked really cool when they came out. Of course, Cleopatra's is kind of like an awe moment as well. I'd say a lot of them are very similar. Cleopatra's was interesting because I had like a preliminary sketch for her, and then we ended up changing it, and the final design ended up being sort of like a general idea of what we were looking for her. So we were still shopping after the point that they were made. Anyway, her final design ended up being more like the preliminary design, which was very interesting, that it kind of went full circle like that. So I ended up being really happy with that. It was interesting to think about. We wanted it to feel like it was sort of in the same world, but also not blend in. We have this beautiful set that's sort of a combination of growth and being like dilapidated in a way, I can't think of the word. And so the women that come on, they have just like these beautiful gowns. A lot of them are in black and other darker colors, but I think that the textures and the colors in general kind of still stand out against this and kind of evoke some of the beauty.